Hello, drama lovers. Welcome back to K-pop world. Today, we're not just talking about a drama. We're talking about a quiet story that never really ended. There's been one question whispered among fans for years. A scene that never made it to the screen. Yet its presence continues to haunt thousands of minds. Did a kiss scene between Wuxian and Wangji actually exist? And was it deliberately deleted from the Untamed? This isn't just gossip. It's a scar that never quite healed. A secret still hanging in the air. And today, we'll try to walk through that trace. Slowly, quietly, because perhaps the truth doesn't lie in what was shown, but in what was deliberately hidden. It all started with silence. The Untamed, a Chinese fantasy drama adapted from the novel Mo Dao Zhu Shu, became one of the biggest phenomena in C-drama history. But as we know, not everything from the novel could be brought to screen. The relationship between Wangji and Wuxian, which in the novel was openly romantic, was altered in the drama, twisted into a form of spiritual brotherhood. Their long stays were explained as respect or moral bond. But every fan knew it wasn't just friendship. Wangji's gaze toward Wuxian was too deep, too quiet, too real. And among this rewritten narrative, a rumor persisted like a ghost that refused to rest. A deleted kiss scene. A scene that, they said, was filmed, but never aired. The rumor resurfaced when an anonymous account posted a blurry photo, allegedly from the production monitor. The image was unclear, grainy, but something about it felt different. Wangji stood very close to Wuxian, his hand lifted near his face, and the expression on both their faces didn't feel like acting. The photos seemed taken from a small screen, likely a shoot monitor. And what stirred the fire even more was the recognizable background. One of the key locations when Wuxian returned in Mo Xuanyu's body. Fans reacted fast. They began comparing aid scenes, frame by frame. And then, they noticed something. Something was missing. A scene felt abruptly cut. Emotion unfinished. A shift in expression that didn't match. As if something had happened in between, but had been carefully removed. Days after the image went viral, a production forum added fuel to the fire. Someone claiming to be a former assistant editor posted a single sentence that sent shockwaves. It wasn't a rumor. The scene existed, but we were instructed to remove it before final editing began. That single line shook the fandom. Comments exploded. Fans around the world dug into old footage, looking for the missing shadow. And there, they found moments once overlooked. Moments that now felt different. When Wuxian looked at Wangji too long at Lotus Pier. When Wangji seemed to hesitate before saying, "You're not alone." Or when, under the rain, Wuxian whispered, "If you had been with me then, maybe everything would have been different." Now, those lines felt like puzzle pieces that had been hidden all along. But the mystery didn't end with blurry images. In an old interview, Zhan once said softly, almost like a whisper, "Some of the scenes we shot couldn't be aired, but we still carry them in our hearts." At the time, it sounded like a generic statement. Now, it feels deeply personal, as if he knew there was a part of their story that the audience never got to see, but one that mattered deeply to the actors themselves. In another promo interview, Wang Yibo responded vaguely when asked about the closeness between Wangji and Wuxian. He just smiled and said, "Some things are more beautiful when left unexplained." Back then, no one thought much of it. But today, that smile feels like it held 1,000 unsaid words. The fandom split. Some believed it was all just speculation, a convincing fan-made hoax. But others, those who'd read the original novel, who knew the intensity of their love, were convinced. The scene was filmed, and it was cut to pass censorship. Because in China, love like that still has to be veiled, wrapped in metaphor, buried in silence, allowed to live only in hiding. Fans overseas launched petitions. Hashtags like #restore Wangxian, #release the Untamed kiss scene, and #realcutuntamed trended on Twitter, Tumblr, and global fan forums. Some created fan edits based on theories and the blurry photo. And the results were hauntingly beautiful. too emotional to be dismissed as pure imagination. But the most heartbreaking part, the silence from the actors. No denial, no confirmation, just quiet. And from that silence, fans understood something did happen. Recently, Xiao Zhan's Weibo post once again stirred the fan base. It read, "Not everything we create has to be shown. Sometimes, the best part of a story is the part we have to keep." He didn't name anyone. He gave no context, but everyone knew. Those words weren't written for nothing. Months later, in a radio show, Wang said, "The best stories are the ones that stay alive, even after the screen fades to black." He wasn't talking about fictional characters. He was talking about the story they played. Or maybe, the one they felt. To this day, there's no concrete proof that the scene existed. No full footage. No confirmation from Tencent. But all the signs, the subtle clues, the silences, form something stronger than visual evidence. The intuition of the fans. Because sometimes, you don't need to see something to know it once existed. And maybe, somewhere in a post-production room, there's a file hidden in a folder, a few seconds long, showing the two characters we've loved for years, finally saying what they never had the chance to express in 50 episodes. But until that day comes, all we can do is imagine. That trace still lingers, in a breath barely heard, in a smile that trembles, in a gaze held just a little too long, and in every scene that felt cut too soon. We know there was a love that once tried to be shown, but the world wasn't brave enough to see it. So, what do you think? Was the kiss scene truly filmed? Or is this just a collective dream built by our hopes? Tell us what you believe in the comments. Because sometimes, the most real stories are the ones that were never finished. That's all for today's story. We'll keep tracing the fragments left behind the screen, because the love hidden in silence is often the most sincere. See you on the next episode of K-Pop World. And don't forget, behind every drama lies a story left untold. You just have to be quiet enough to hear it.